It's Pastor Dan from Dexter Gospel Church with the Proverbs Practical. Thanks for watching. This proverb reminds us that our behaviors affect the people around us, especially those closest to us. We're in Proverbs 28, verse 7. Proverbs 28:7 says, "Whoso keeps the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of riotous men shames his father." Remember that in their culture, your legacy and heritage were enormously important. Your honor or shame didn't just reflect upon you, it reflected upon your forefathers and upon your descendants. You were part of something that was bigger than just yourself. You were part of a family that was bigger than you, and your actions had an impact on your whole family's reputation, legacy, and heritage. It was important to bring honor, not shame, to your family, and you always wanted to raise a child that you could be proud of and that would continue that legacy. So Solomon points to the morality of offspring as being the most important and most honorable quality that they could have, the one that keeps the law, being the wise son. Who cared, he says, if they have a legacy of success, if the legacy was also of folly and immorality? The son who kept the law was the ideal, the one who lived by what God said was right. Of course, that meant that the parents' priorities must be on right and wrong too, because it's hard to train someone else to something that you don't live yourself. They would care most about whether their child did right or wrong. So that would be the child that made father or mother proud. But the one who would bring them shame was the companion of riotous men. He didn't have to be a murderer or an adulterer to embarrass his family, to let down his heritage or tarnish his legacy. The idea here is someone who eats with gluttons. It's the partier. It's the person who lives for pleasure instead of right and wrong. They're focused on fun rather than responsibility, on pleasing their own body rather than pleasing the Lord. And this would ultimately bring shame to his parents. They couldn't point to him as moral, as accomplished, as successful, just as indulgent, unself-controlled, caught up in the pleasures of this world and honestly not even achieving much here. He's burning through his inheritance and destroying his body, and eventually neither will be left, and he'll have done nothing worthwhile with his life. When it talks about him being a companion, I suspect that his companions aren't really the issue so much as they are an indicator. The problem isn't so much that he's friends with people who are gluttons, but rather that he's friends with them because he is one of them. He eats right along with them. It doesn't matter whether they had the idea first and he went along with it, or whether he was the ringleader who had the idea and they went along with it. The fact is that he's with them and they're all doing it. He's participating in this unwise behavior. Of course, today we think of gluttony as not that big a deal, at least morally speaking. We shrug it off and excuse it. We become gluttons, not just of food, but of entertainment and of comfort. We burn through our resources and ruin our bodies for pleasure, for what feels good. Whether it's through drugs or alcohol, or whether it's through food or sedentary living, we live by, our moral compass is set to what feels good instead of what's right or what's best. It's striking that when God looks for the contrast to the one who doesn't keep the one who keeps the law, he doesn't look to the vicious, determined lawbreaker, the killer, the adulterer as the opposite of keeping the law, but rather the person who just cares more about pleasure and partying than they do right and wrong. Ultimately, see, the law was about loving God more than anything else. And so when we love our own pleasure more than we love God, we betray the law and will bring shame, not just to our earthly families, but I think to our Heavenly Father as well. So the answer to this is to dedicate ourselves to living by what God says. We have to determine that what is right and wrong matters more than how we feel and what we enjoy. Then we'll live an honorable life, a life that honors our heritage and brings honor to our legacy and pleases our Heavenly Father. I hope this video is a blessing to you. If it is, give it a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more like it. We'd love to see you in the comments, and we'd love to see you in person here at Dexter Gospel Church. Until next time, hope you stay well and choose right over pleasure.